Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Trickstar Yugioh deck profile for post Dawn of Majesty. We got the Trickstar Festival spell card in the Dawn of Majesty booster set, and it's been a while since the last update to the Trickstar deck, so I figured an update was definitely due. I always like to focus on more of the link summoning variant of the Trickstars than more of the burn damage playstyle that the deck is known for. It just gives me more of a Vrains feel. I know that Blue Heart, or what was it, Blue Angel, I messed up there for a second. She changed her name so much during the series, but Blue Angel used more of the link power, I would say, compared to the burn plays that she could have done with the deck, and I always found that to be more of a fun play style that the deck could use. And there are some cards that are hit on the ban list for this deck that definitely limit its power, but I'm still going through with just what I feel would be the best for the playstyle setup for the deck altogether. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the Trickstar monsters, I'm running 3 Trickstar Candina. This is definitely one of the go-to cards. When it's normal summon, you can add 1 Trickstar card from your deck to your hand, and each time your opponent activates a spell or trap, inflict 200 damage to them immediately after it resolves. So a good way to just get some of the different Trickstar spell and traps, or even a monster card from your deck to your hand. And the new card being the Trickstar Festival, which just basically gives you 2 tokens, is a great addition with this card, because then you can go for some of the higher link monsters that we run in the deck with just that 1 monster search, preserving all the other cards for future plays we might use with the deck also. And the burn damage every time your opponent activates a spell or trap is just added bonus on top of this card's overall great search effect. For the next card, I also run 3 Trickstar Licorice. With this one, quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand, target 1 Trickstar monster you control except for Licorice, special summon this card, then return that monster to the hand, and each time a card is added to your opponent's hand, inflict 200 damage to them for each. So most of the time you want to bounce back Candina with this card, because then after bouncing it and special summoning Licorice, you can then just normal summon Candina again the following turn, giving you another search off of this card. And if you have multiple Licorice in your hand, you can chain off these same numbers to Candina, summoning out multiple Licorice for more burn damage against your opponent each time they add a card from their deck to the hand, but also giving you that normal power off of the Candina like I already stated before. For some of the lower numbers for the Trickstars in my deck being the link-focused deck, I also run 2 Trickstar Nightshade. If this card is sent to the graveyard as link material for the link summon of a Trickstar monster, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Nightshade once per turn. So this is a 1-card link to monster, being able to just use this 1 card to go into Trickstar Holly Angel. So very, very useful for that play to get out some of the bigger monsters in the deck. I considered running 3. If I were to do so, I would drop down one of the hand trap options that I run in the deck, but that's also player preference at that point for this card. Being a level 1 monster, just good for that setup altogether with the deck, and also being a 1-for-1 target. I also run the 1 Trickstar Lilybell. If this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon it from your hand. You can only use this effect of Lilybell once per turn, and this card can attack directly, and when it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 Trickstar monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. So being able to recycle any of the cards we spoke of already in the deck is a big plus off of Lilybell being added by Candina, and then just special summoning it out to the field can give you 2 monsters, not just for burn damage, but for that recycle power I spoke of. You really only need the 1, though. This card is searchable with a good number of different cards we run in the deck, so I feel that's all you need for it. But going more for the link variant, once again, I'll show what hand trap you can take out if you want to add an additional number of Lilybell and also Nightshade into the deck for these numbers. And I don't know where I put all of my Trickstar Corobanes. That is the hand trap, special summon, but also attack gaining Trickstar monster. And I would definitely run that card at 3 in the deck, but I don't know what binder it's in. I've been searching for my playset all over. I know it's here somewhere, but I have to find it. So to substitute Trickstar Corobane, I have 3 Honest in the deck. It is another light attribute monster, but with the deck having some restrictions for Trickstars, I definitely want to run Corobane over Honest. So if you have the Trickstar Corobane, just put them in instead of the Honest, and hopefully I can find my playset. I just don't know where I place them or in what binder they're in. And watch, as soon as I upload this video, I'm going to open up a page in one of my binders and find it right there. For the other hand trap options in the deck, I am running 3 Effect Veiler and the 2 Droll and Lockbird for more of the lock play style against your opponent with this card, and then just also being able to Trickstar Reincarnation them for the restriction against them not being able to draw any cards after they add a card from their deck to their hand. you Lockbird, and then Reincarnation. If you wanted to add a third copy of this card, you could just drop the number of Effect Veiler to add a third copy of this, and then the 2 Effect Veiler spot can also be the numbers you add in for additional Lilybell and also Nightshade for those Trickstar numbers in the deck. But it's player preference if you wanted to add any more from those numbers, but definitely do bump up the number of Droll and Lockbird with the minusing of Effect Veiler from there. And that is it for the monsters. We mainly should just stick to the Trickstar lineup, having pretty easy search power. For these spells, I've been mixing back and forth between Trickstar Festival. Ideally, I'm leaning more towards 3 copies of this card in the deck. If I were, I would drop the 1 copy of Trickstar Bouquet that I am running more for the bounce power with this card, but this card here gives you 2 tokens on the field, light fairy monsters, and if a Trickstar monster you control that was special summoned from the extra deck would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You cannot normal or special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, except for Trickstar monsters. So this card is definitely made to be in a Link variant of the Trickstars, which is the main focus with all the different cards we can summon out in this deck with the Trickstar monsters at hand. So giving you 2 tokens just meets that requirement even more, needing Trickstar monsters and summoning out all of our different Trickstar tokens with this card. And the protection from the graveyard is just an added bonus with this card for those special summon monsters, giving us a one-time card protection against our opponent. For the field spells, Light Stage is at 1, so we're running 1 Light Stage in the deck. When this card's activated, you can add 1 Trickstar monster from your deck to your hand. So opening up this card, adding Candina, then just going off of the search with Candina is a great plus there. And targeting a set card in the field zone, it cannot be activated until the end phase of this turn, and your opponent cannot activate it during the end phase of the turn, or else send it to the graveyard. Getting rid of a resource your opponent has on the field is just another plus. And the 1 Trickstar Live Stage, when it's activated, you can add 1 Trickstar monster from your graveyard to your hand, and you can only use each of the following effects of Live Stage once per turn, and you got special summon monsters the turn you activate this, except for Trickstar monsters. Once again, it's just the fact that this is the Trickstar Link deck, so not really too much of a problem with Live Stage. If you control a Trickstar Link monster, you can special summon 1 Trickstar token, or if your opponent controls a card in their spell and trap card zone, you can special summon 1 Trickstar token. More and more tokens off of all the different cards, so resources after resources with all of our Trickstars. That's why I like Live Stage, and then Light Stage being for the monster search, and you have plenty of search power to get these cards into your hand, also with cards like Trickstar Candina. So very, very useful there for the Trickstar cards all together. And I also run 2 Trickstar Magical Laurel. This is the equip spell in the deck. You activate this card by targeting 1 Trickstar monster in your graveyard, special summon it, equip it with this card, and when it leaves the field, destroy that monster. And once per turn, if the equipped monster inflicts battle or effect damage to your opponent, special summon 1 Trickstar monster from your hand. So that resource is just good if you have, let's say, a Trickstar that you couldn't get out into the field this turn because you wanted to benefit more from another search from the graveyard most of the time with Licorice's burn damage, because when your opponent would add a card, you'll burn for the damage, making you use your Magical Lore to potentially get out another Licorice or any of the other monsters. That's why I also prefer Corobane over Honest, so you just have more of those hand options in your hand to use for the special summon. And I also, for some of the other 1-ups for the Trickstar spells, 1 Trickstar Fusion. I only run the 1. We are running the 1 copy of the Trickstar Band Suite Guitar, but this also is searchable in the deck with Candina, so that's why I feel you only need the 1. If you want to go for the Fusion play, then you're going to search out the Fusion card. Fusion summoning a Trickstar Fusion monster by using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. You can banish this card from your graveyard to target 1 Trickstar monster in your graveyard and add to your hand, but you cannot normal or set or special summon monsters with the same name for the turn. But the recycle power off of a Fusion card is what I like about it. It gives you that plus off of the materials you may have used for your summon by then being able to have a next plan the following turn with that monster you added back. For some of the more generic spells, once again focusing on the fact that this is a Trickstar Link deck, I run 2 World Legacy Succession with the Link arrows with our Trickstar monsters, just being able to special summon back cards like Licorice to the field for more burn damage is an added help with World Legacy Succession. And for the 1-ofs, I run 1 Pot of Avarice. This deck can definitely go through cards very, very quickly, so being able to recycle them with Avarice is why I like running at least 1 copy of it. Call of the Grave to stop my opponent's graveyard plays. Monster Reborn, another special summon resource. I run the 1 Terraforming. There's only 2 field spells, but still definitely worth the search when I open up this card. As for the last of the 1-ofs, the 1-for-1 for the Nightshade search and potentially Effect Veiler, but I always go for Nightshade, just being the fact that I need it for the 1 Link 1 Trickstar Bloom, needing a level 2 or lower Trickstar monster. And lastly, the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, clearing out my opponent's back row, because once again, we do want the Link summons to be successful, so cards like Solemn Strike or Warning or Judgment that can stop any of those plays and clearing them out with Harpy's Feather Duster, or at least baiting my opponent to use the Solemn Judgment is why I like Harpy's Feather Duster in the deck. And as for the traps, one of the best traps in the deck is Trickstar Reincarnation. You banish your opponent's entire hand, and if you do, they draw until they have the same number of cards. And you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Trickstar monster in your graveyard, and special summon it. So with that banish, you can just use it during your opponent's turn, being a trap card, getting Licorice back onto the field as a burn potential against your opponent. But the banish of their hand can definitely take away from potential cards they could have used against you. So this, and the fact that you can combo it with Droll and Lockbird, just makes for that much more scary of a card in general. For more special summon power, going back to the link focus of the deck, I also run 3 Call the Haunted. I'm choosing this over Back to the Front because we have link monsters in the deck and they can't be summoned in defense, so being able to summon them back on the field gives us resources to then go into some of our bigger link monsters in the deck. So 3 Call the Haunted also just can get other ones like Licorice along comboed with Reincarnation for all those plays. And lastly, for the traps, just one Metaverse. The field spells are very important for your setup, so being able to search them out with either Terraforming or Metaverse, or even if you need to go for a different field spell, is why I like running this card in the deck as well. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 1 copy of Trickstar Holy Angel. You need 2 Trickstar monsters to make it, and each time a Trickstar monster is normal or special summon to a zone this card points to, inflict 200 damage to your opponent. Trickstar monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And if your opponent inflicts battle damage by a Trickstar monster effect, this card gains attack equal to the damage they took. So with the World Legacy Succession just being added plus for the burn damage you can provide your opponent, giving you a monster and also protecting them with Holy Angel, I potentially thought to run 2 of this card, but you really only need it. You can reduce some of the other numbers for your link monsters, but I'll show which ones you would take out for it. I also run the 2 Trickstar Bloom, having the level 1 targets with Nightshade to summon this card, and just having the potential to use it again if you need to go for another link too. So with each Nightshade, I normally just go into Bloom with this card, so that's why I run the 2 copies of this and the 2 copies of Trickstar Bloom, so you always have that link option available to you. I also run the 1 Trickstar Black Cat Bat. With this one, you need 2 Trickstar monsters, and each time a monster this card points to is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you inflict damage to your opponent, and each time your opponent takes damage by a Trickstar monster effect, face-up monsters they control lose 200 attack for each monster. So a good way to lower the attack with this one, and more of the setup with Foxglove Witch being our link 3 target, being able to inflict damage to your opponent for each card they control, and if they link summon card is destroyed by battle or effect, you can special summon 1 link 2 or lower Trickstar from your extra deck. Going for the targets again being Black Cat Bat or your Holy Angel, plenty available to summon out once this card is gone, with our boss monster being Trickstar Bella Madonna, needing 2 or more Trickstar monsters, and when it's link summoned this card points to become unaffected by other cards' activated effects. And if this card points to a monster, no monsters, you can inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each Trickstar in your graveyard. So the buildup of all your extract monsters and the other Trickstar monsters we run definitely help this card come in handy with that. For more of the generic link monsters, I run 1 Link Karibo with the Nightshade if you want to go for this instead of Bloom for more protection defensively against your opponent, the 1 Hip Hoshinengen, the 1 Lena the Light Charmer, 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, the 1 Appaloosa, and then lastly the Fusion Monster, which is the Trickstar Band Sweet Guitar. Its effect damage inflicted to your opponent by your Trickstar Link monster link to this card is doubled, so that's a very scary potential effect there. And if your opponent takes damage by a Trickstar monster effect, this card gains attack equal to the damage they took, kind of like Holy Angel there. And if this card attacked this turn, the attack gained from the effect returned to your hand, and you can add 1 Trickstar monster from your graveyard to your hand. Recycle power off of the Fusion, just needing a Trickstar Link monster and a Trickstar, which you can easily do, and search out the Fusion spell with cards like Candina to then go into this monster, but also give you recycle power from the graveyard like I stated. And then as for the go-to plays, one of my favorites, as I said before, is the Nightshade play being the focus of the Link deck. You linking into 1 with Trickstar Nightshade, being able to summon out your Trickstar Bloom, since the card effect activates when you summon out a Trickstar monster. Special summoning Nightshade back onto the field, which will banish it when it leaves the field. But with just 1 card, you were able to go into the Link 2 of choice before even taking away more of the summoning power with that card. And then also having the search power off of this card gives you more setup to use for other cards like World Legacy Succession, being able to activate this, summoning back the Bloom to the field, and then going from there for more Link plays, or if you have the Fusion spell, using those 2 monsters to summon out your Fusion monster, or even using them to then go into your Link 3 Trickstar Foxglove Witch. And all the better for these plays is added when you use the new spell that we got for the deck, being Trickstar Festival, giving you the 2 tokens on the field for you to use against your opponent when you summon out these 2 tokens. You can use the same play without even taking up your normal summon, going for the Link 2, which if you even have the play set up for your Trickstar Foxglove Witch, you can then activate the 2 tokens on the field, needing the requirements for summoning out your Link 4 Bella Madonna, having the option to point where you summoned out the tokens for this card on the field as well. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I always like going back and looking at the Trickstar Link options. I find it to be one of the more fun variants of the deck, so definitely look into it if you're looking to build something with Link plays from the Vrain series. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to build and leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.